why. It's Thanksgiving, and we're going to show.
No, it's not. It's Valentine's.
It's Valentine's Day. We just talked about Thanksgiving. It was like, oh my gosh, that's funny. It is February. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We are going to show our bodies some love today. Mom, welcome. This is the founder of Movement Moments, which are very, very helpful for those of us who are hard on our bodies and busy every day. And who isn't in that category? I know I am. So, Mom, what are Movement Moments? And tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, as I got older and things started to crop up, I had different injuries and worked on different ways of going about getting rid of them. And I got interested in the idea that we really don't move enough during the day. And a lot of the things that happen as we age are not because it's natural aging, but it's because we don't move. And so Movement Moments is a series of very simple actions that you take during the day while you're doing other things, mostly while you're doing other things, and you fit them in without having to go to an exercise class. Or, I mean, you can do any of that also, but it gets more movement into your day by using these strategies rather than by going to a gym or having to set aside special times. And so we pay attention to the parts of the body that need movement and that don't get it in our sedentary life. We're always outsourcing our movement to labor-saving devices and all sorts of conveniences, which might be handy, but they're not good for our bodies. Our bodies are meant to be really hunter-gatherers. We haven't evolved that fast. So that's it. That's what we do.
Awesome. So what I love is that we can do these when we're busy because they've really helped me. I've been learning a lot myself in these series. And today we're going to talk about something that we probably all need more care with, and that is our wrists.
Our hands. Yeah, Robin and I have been doing this now since early November. That's why we were just talking about it. We were talking about Thanksgiving. But we get together once a week, and it's a lot of fun because I just give one or two movements in a different area, or talk about the need to move and strategies to combat the things that happen to us when we don't move. So the hands.
Well, and the other thing we do, right, Mom, is over repetitive motion. Things we do like working on our phones, working at the computer, sitting at a desk, sitting in a vehicle, all that stuff that we slowly get into a posture that is very detrimental.
Right. And speaking of which, I don't know how many people use those little things that have buttons and screens. I mean, no buttons, but screens and a virtual keyboard, and spend a lot of time with our hands in this position. But
I am
you don't know anybody like that, Robin.
No.
But even if we don't spend a lot of time on our phone, we rarely spend time extending our hands. And the hands have a lot of muscles in them and ligaments, and especially as one gets older, your hands tend to it happened to me. My hands started to get sore, and I had puffy hands, and so I started worrying, I'm getting old, I got arthritis, I'm gonna this and that. And I found that the best lotion is motion, and that what really took care of it for me is not resting my hands, but doing the exact opposite, and that is using them, and firmly and strongly. So the first thing is, I think I'll have to move back for this a little bit. Let's see.
These are some of my favorites. Like, if you're watching and you ever feel like your hands are stiff or sore, I mean, I know I'm guilty on the phone way too much, using it for my business and everything else. It's so important to do this. So go ahead, Mom.
This really wakes up your hands and uses those extensor muscles that are so important and that get so cramped. And so what I make sure at least once a day, I do this, which is stretch all the way out as far as you can. Make your fingers go out as far as they possibly can. You don't actually have to have your arms out by their size, but that's good also, because make sure you don't lift your shoulders up like this, or relax your shoulders. Try to get your shoulder blades into your back and put your arms out straight like that. And so basically you're flicking like you have something on your hands and you want to flick it off. You're flicking water and you're trying to water something at a distance. And just as hard as you can, get those fingers out straight. And you do that And I count to 100, or you can watch a timer and do it for a minute. You won't be able to do it for that long when you first start. It does take working up, and my hands were a little tired when I first started too. But it's really powerful in energizing those fingers and helping to combat the kinds of basically repetitive things we do to our hands, which is really mistreating them.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel
And
this.
so this is, I guarantee, I mean, it's really, I haven't had puffy hands since I started to do this.
That's amazing.
And it's really important to be able, and of course you can fit this in when you're standing. If you use your hands free and you're on the phone talking, you can be doing this. Or when I'm working at my computer and I have to read something, there's a lot of different ways you can fit this in. It's just that awareness that you got to pay attention to these, because they're the only ones you have, and they have to do a lot of good things for us. So,
right. Hey, Maxine, happy Valentine's Day.
Bye, Maxine. So the next thing, I mean, the hands obviously are connected to the forearms and the wrists and all of this motion. When you feel yourself move your hands, you'll feel, if you hold your, let me get a little closer again.
Practicing.
If you hold your arm up here, you'll feel, that obviously you're moving, the muscles go all the way up in here and into your elbow. So the other thing that I was having trouble with was my elbow was hurting, like a tennis elbow. And this is another magic little thing that you can fit in just about any time, anywhere. And basically you put your arms at your sides and you're flicking your hands over and back like this. And at the same time, you're going down to your waist and coming back up again, and so on. And I do this, I count to 10 or something. I do this a lot during the day whenever I'm thinking of it. So you should do it so you feel a little tired in the forearms. And what you're doing is the elbow is getting lubricated essentially, and you're strengthening the muscles that move it in that way. And we just don't do that. Our sedentary lifestyle is such that we're sitting so much of the time. I mean, we might be working very hard. We might be sitting and working at our desks, or we might be in the kitchen, or doing work, or people who work, as Robin does, around a farm or something. They're doing a lot of work, but oftentimes we get into habits and patterns of motion that if you find you have something sore, it's because you have developed some sort of compensation for some weakness that you have, and that you have something you're doing is aggravating something that isn't strong enough. So that these kinds of things, if your elbow is bothering you, it means that you need to strengthen and move those muscles that you use when you do that kind of motion. So that's a really good one. And again, these things are so easy to fit in if you think about them. So make yourself a little sticky and take one and just try it and turn it into a habit. You don't try to do all of them all at once.
And these, I will say, have been major life changers for me. Like, I know when we started these specific things are one of the things that kind of kicked this whole thing off, because Mom was you were visiting, and I was dealing with these exact issues. Like, my hands were hurting, my wrists were hurting, my tennis elbow kind of stuff. And a lot of it comes from holding this too much, working on my phone, because I run around, chase Sage, and it's just part of what we do. And we don't even think about it, but these really work. I do them all the time now. It's been incorporated, like when I'm doing chores or walking around or anywhere. It's so amazing how these little things can work. These are some
that's why the moments are what you can grab at, that are really magic. Maybe I should call them magic moments. No.
There you go.
Magic movement moments or something.
Right.
Anyway, I want to show you one more before we're done.
Okay.
And this is hands and wrists. And what you do is, this is another thing we don't do enough of, is give our wrists some massaging and some work. And so essentially, first you start with it this way, so your fingers are pointing towards you and your wrists are out. And this could be hard when you first start to even get in this position, but you keep your elbows straight and you rock back and forth like this, and then hold in the position. If this hurts too much, then put your hands further away from you, which however you can do it so that you can start. Maybe you won't be able to get your wrists all the way down at the beginning, but if you do this regularly, you'll be able, can you see this well enough?
Yeah.
If you do this regularly, you'll be able to do it. And then you put your hands in this position, just on the side. So that the first one was this way with your wrist pointing out. And the other one is like this with your wrist pointing, and you move side to side like that. And again, this is helping extend your fingers at the same time and also get some flexibility in your wrists. And last but not least, try this one. Turn your hands over and try to get your whole hand down with your wrists out and your elbow straight. This is much harder. And so you just go really easy with yourself. Don't force anything, and just gently rock. And you'll find as you go along, you'll be able to increase the ability to do that. So again, these are things that you can do when you're watching TV, when you're talking on the phone with your hands free, or you can find all sorts of times to do it. But the idea is to remember your hands, wrists, and forearms and elbows, that they need some love too, just like, they're the only ones we have, and we abuse them quite a bit. So.
Right. Yeah. And it's so easy to do with everything that we're holding, carrying grocery, it's really, really, these are some.
A lot of this kind of thing without doing the flexing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easy to injure if it's weak. If those muscles are weak, it's very easy to tweak something because you pick something up funny. I used to get wrist sore, or when I was picking up a tea kettle or something, all of a sudden my hand would hurt. When I noticed the difference since I started doing these, and also hanging, which is very good for your hands. Putting away a heavy dish or something, I would get like a pain in my hand, but it's all gone now.
That's so cool. You guys watching, hopefully this is helping. If anybody is watching and you think of a friend that needs some love, extra love and care for their hands and wrists and elbows and forearms, tag them. You can share this with them. Or if you yourself feel like this is something that you want to incorporate, if you have questions, let us know. Please feel free to drop a comment. Yeah.
One more thing, I as I mentioned last week, I haven't gotten it quite completed yet, but I have this worksheet, this PDF for you that's called a Movability Checkup, which shows you some things you can do to assess where you are in terms of mobility. And so it gives you a baseline so that when you start doing these kinds of things and incorporate them in your life, you can check back in a month or 2 months and see how you do. So it gives you like a baseline checkup. So if you'd like to get that, please direct message Robin or me and send me your email and I'll send it to you. So, okay.
All right, you all. Well, hopefully you are staying warm. I know it's been pretty much all over the country right now. It's abnormally cold or exceptionally cold. We're usually kind of cold this time of year, but we're ready to get back above zero. And hopefully everybody's staying warm and safe. And thank you all for jumping on here and joining us. And have a fabulous Valentine's Day.
Bye all.
Thank you all. Bye.